just entered the bear crawling nation on the No Agenda Stream.
This is Mordant McFall, and welcome to the other side of live.
Welcome everybody to the other side of live. I am up top of the mountain in beautiful Idlewild, California. This is the other side of live, and tonight's working title for the episode is Planting It Forward, but we'll see if that title survives the night. In the morning, No Agenda Stream, and of course now it is time to introduce the dark side of positive. Charles McFall of the Bear Crawling Nation.
This morning on Chaos and Coffee, I was actually referred to as the dark side of happy. I don't remember exactly why, but I was.
I don't know why either.
I don't remember.
Because on Chaos and Coffee, you are so not happy.
Well, I am. I'm a jovial kind of guy. I'm just very tired. So.
Yeah. I'm going to say one more time, in the morning to everybody in the chat room. And it looks like it's a little quiet tonight. Don't know what's up with that.
Yeah, a little slower, but it's all right.
Nobody's spanking forward. Maybe they all got better things to do. Maybe they have better lives to live. So, last week we had Tosol episode number 36, which was the Tosol, Arizona meetup, the very first Tosol meetup, and that one was entitled Cancer and Comedy.
How'd you feel coming off of that? That was a live meetup. You were energetic in the room. How'd you feel about that?
I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed the duality of the episode. The fact that we had five women in the room, and I think 2 to 3 of them were cancer survivors. So all of a sudden, it went from being hey happy friendly to we took a side trip. They were all very upbeat. The fact that they were cancer survivors and that they didn't carry it with them. That's not the first thing. I've known some of those women for years, and I didn't know. That's not the first thing they push forward. So that was we got to have a great look into that and what it's like to move beyond the sickness into a healthy life and to get on with your life. And I really enjoyed that. And then, of course, we had Louis Scaradec of the Almost Homeless Comedy Tour call in and talk to us about what it's like to go from being a Renaissance Festival performer to a stand-up comedian. And to become being pretty successful at it. So I liked the duality of all that, and I liked the fact that I thought it was a very upbeat show, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, there you go.
I'm jealous. I wish I could have been there. I do like energy in the room, and you got to have it, and I didn't. So. I missed out.
That's all right. We're gonna have that together when I get to Georgia. We'll do our meetup there. Probably it's the day after Memorial Day.
That's the Tuesday after. Yes, sir.
So whatever date that is, and it might actually be in Marietta. It looks like we're lining it up towards that, unless it's in the middle of Hotlanta.
So no, Marietta is north of Atlanta, and we need to get it nailed down. You're freaking me out, dude. We're getting closer and closer. So I'm ready. I want to know.
Well, you're nailing down your half of it. Whether we're going to be at the hub or we're going to be in Marietta, I think we're pretty much a go on either one.
I don't talk to. I'll call her. I'll give her a call. I'll call Hope. I'll call Hope.
The talent. I don't know what to do here.
Well, it's funny. It's like I want to do. So you make all these phone calls and you tell me, well, we're mostly here. Okay. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? I don't know. I'm the talent. What do you mean you're the talent? You made the phone call. Fine, I'll make the phone call. Damn it. I'll turn this car around and go home.
Well, I'm looking at the chat room right now, and they're experiencing what they call unique lag, which means that they're hearing us, I think, from a couple of moments ago or a couple of minutes ago even. And I want to just that helps me segue into my own kind of lag that's going up. I am up this mountain for the first time today. And I'm like, la, 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 no big deal. It's a lot of fun. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I got a headache, and I don't feel well. And I got altitude sickness. What's up with that? So that's fun. I'm drinking a lot of water now, and hopefully that'll get me through it. Or maybe I'm just a great big wuss.
Well, explain this mountain thing, because I'm thinking you might be a wuss, but I'd like to know the real difference in altitude from where you started.
Okay, Arizona,
yeah,
desert, flat. In fact, as I drove in, it's pretty close to Palm Springs where I'm at. You go up the mountain. I think we're at 4,000 4,449 or 4,549, something like that. Idlewild, California. So that's where I'm at right now. And to me, I'm from Florida, so any 1,000 is for me. So tonight's topic, planting it forward, is brought to you by the Dark Side of Positive. Charles came up with this one.
I did. And
we both agreed it was a fantastic idea. So I'm going to let you take the lead on this. Take point, my friend. We're in the bush. Take point.
All right. Well, I grew up in the church, and so I tend to use a lot of church metaphors because I understand them. I can get the visuals. I can share the visuals. They're pretty straightforward. And the other night I was hearing a message, and I didn't, I don't click with the particular speaker I was hearing, but the message was on point. And she was talking about sowing and reaping, which is a very biblical idea. And a lot of people use it in the manner of, well, you always got to tell about Jesus, and you got to sow, and somebody else will reap. I've only always heard it that way. So I'm just like, that's a crap story. I hate it because it's so niche. It's so niche, I can't deal with it. This particular speaker really opened the doors on that. It said it's about life. Talking about relationships. I'm setting it all up to get to our point here. But she was talking about setting up relationships. If you're in a relationship and the other person doesn't want to, well, she phrased it, spend money on you, which I heard as a negative, but I knew what she's trying to say. And I would have taken it in a different route. I would have said, if the person doesn't want to invest their resources in you, if they're not wanting to spend the time to do what you want to do, and you've also, if they're not wanting to take their money and spend it on you to invest in you to take you out or buy something you need, that kind of thing. It's an investment. It's where your heart is, your money is. So if they're not spending time and money on you, if they're not sowing into the relationship, you need to get out. She was talking about that. She was talking about other ways. But what I heard, to all apply to ourselves, what I heard was exactly what we're doing here. And I thought this would be perfect. I mean, immediately I texted Mordant McFall and said, this is what we need to talk about. Sirring and Rupert. And he's like, what are you talking about? It's like, stupid autocorrect. I'm trying to do this.
I don't understand. I'm eloquent and I'm literate and I don't understand.
I don't know what sewing and Rupert is, but okay. So once we get on the phone, we explain. When you're searching your dream, as we talk about here all the time, you're seeking your dream, you're chasing your passion. We forget all the hard work that goes into the, quote, sowing part, which would be throwing the seeds out, putting your energy, putting yourself out into other people, not just out into the universe, not just talking and stirring the quantum soup. That's all part of it. What I'm specifically looking at, and I'm going to throw it back to you here in a second, Morning, because I'll go on all night about this because I have a huge story on it. But I'm looking at, I've come so far enough that I can look back and see where I started with a band and really wanted, my message was to get out there and affect the world with a creative message. That's where I had to go. I didn't know how to do it. So I started investing time and energy here, started doing it here, doing there, put it into people that I thought could help me move forward. And I've had 2 conversations with my wife over the years. It's been about 10 years I've started really chasing this path. And both times, well, we've had multiple. I'm talking about there's been 2 times she sat me down and said, this is crap. You're spending our money. You're taking time away from us. We never see you. I don't like it anymore. The first time she's 100% right with the band. Everything was wrong. I sacrificed everything to chase this futile dream. I wasn't sowing. I was chasing. And there's going to be a difference. The second time was when things started overbearing my plate, where I was investing in people with the podcast and chasing this little avenue, not chasing, but I was investing in this avenue. Maybe it paid off, maybe it wouldn't. The point was I was helping here. The point was I was helping there. And she said, you're taking too much time away from us. I don't like it. And I had to readjust my plate to where I could keep on this path. But I didn't change my path. I just adjusted. So I want to talk about investing in your future. You called it planting it forward. It's not just chasing your dreams. You have to put effort into this area, put effort into that area, put effort until you reap, until it comes back. Sometimes it's practice. Sometimes it's just planting, and there's a lot more metaphors. But now I need to throw it back to you. So catch.
When you I got it. When you first talked to me about this, it sounds a lot like pay it forward, because you were talking more about helping others and giving to others without really looking for a return. You know, it's and I likened it to help others be awesome, which is now my mission statement. Help others be awesome. So when you talked about that and giving to others and helping other people along, and you gave the example of how you're helping people start their podcasts and helping them along, whether they're in the Bear Crawling Nation or whether they're on the No Agenda stream, it didn't matter. If somebody comes to you, and there's a little bit of talent and a lot of interest there, really sincere about it, then you're all about it. You love podcasting anyways. Mm-hmm. So to me, it felt a little bit like paying it forward. We've been given a lot. We've had a lot of things drop in our lap, and we've done the work for it. But now it's our ability to give to others. And eventually, there is that law of reciprocity, which is kind of that fancy name for, hey, look, you do unto others and it's going to be returned back to you. It may not come directly from them, and that's not why you're doing it either. You're not, right. If I help this person out down the road, they're going to give me $20.
Right.
Or down the road, they're going to give me a leg up. That's just the way it works. You don't look for it. It just happens. And the joy, what you get back, the payment you get back is that joy of helping others. Now, I was looking for a quote. It talked about somewhere in a book that I've read recently, 5 years is of helping others. It's a gestation period where it does come back to you, and usually within about 5 years. It may not be that person, it may be somebody they know, or maybe something down the line where you're helping them comes back to you. And I could not find whether it was in Keith Ferrazzi's Never Eat Alone Again, or it was in The Happiness Advantage by Shakor. Never Eat Alone Again was hitting home as I was listening to it, because it talked specifically about helping other people out, and that being, a food for your soul, and that being actually the best way that you can network with somebody. So a lot of people think, hey, if I help this person out, great, they kind of owe me a favor. I don't want to call in that favor until it's something really big. That's not how it works. You keep helping people out, and eventually it'll come back to you. Whether you come to them with a favor or you're helping somebody by making an introduction or whatever that is, that was in Never Eat Alone. In The Happiness Advantage, what it talked about was that happiness does not come from success. They've done studies about it, and with positive psychology, happiness does not come from success. Happiness does not circle around, does not orbit success. Success orbits around happiness. So if you're happy, you're more apt to be successful. You're more apt to see the opportunities that are before you. Whereas when you're not happy, when you're concerned about something, you're more in that fight or flight, and you can only see two options. When you're happy, you can see everything else. So when you're helping other people out, you're also happy, which breeds your success. So planting it forward really does help you in the long run. And you have to do it somewhat altruistically. It's not like, hey, I'm going to do it for you. You're not going to keep score. You can keep it, in the back of your, hey, it's going to come back to me. You can really feel that. You can really think that, but you don't want to keep score about it. That's the thing. Well, so planting it forward is about that. And I'm going to stop interrupting you now.
No, it's okay. I'm interrupting you. And actually, people are talking about it's an idea of karma. You do good things come back to you. Get my slaves to sleep, because I said in the chat room here live, Tuesday nights, 9:30 to 10:30 on noagendachat.net and many other various outlets in the world. You can be in the chat room, and you can put in a username, and you put two symbols like ++ right behind it. But you cannot do it for yourself. That gives you karma. That's a positive. People have to give you the positive karma. You can't do it for yourself. So I was making a quick point in the chat room. I was like, hey, yeah, that's why you can't ++ yourself. And I was like, what? I'm asleep. He's taping something, so he's busy. I'm sorry, sir, for calling you.
No, he says, I'm sorry, I'm taping, so I'm not listening. Thank you. So we know that Gitmo Slave tapes the other side of live. That's awesome.
It's on cassette. He has to flip his Dolby Digital cassette over, get the other side of it.
At least it's not the 8-track tape. Or reel-to-reel like my dad used to have.
What I really started seeing with this was my path. My path with music was I wasn't investing to help people. If I found somebody that I thought could help me, I really just dove into their lives and helped them and do that, because I have a giving nature. Something that I did not take wrong, I thought it was a great comment, is when I first met Rock Girl for the first time. She'd been listening to the show, and we've been getting prepared to go out to the meetup last year. And we met people, and I just do what I do. I oversee everybody. I make sure everybody's taken care of. Everybody's having a good time. Organize, look forward, see the big picture. I just make sure everything works. And apparently something really touched a nerve with her in a good way, because later she told me, the thing that She didn't even say it was about me until she surprised me. But she said, this is my impression of so-and-so. But the big thing that impressed me in the long story is that I had a giving heart. That I was really out there taking care of people. And she said, don't take that wrong. I was like, how can you take that wrong? I mean, yes, you're surprised. So, sure, it's maybe not blaring through the show as maybe it should be. But, that's fine. It's cool. Because I'm investing in people at that point, and that's where I've been successful. I'm not trying to say, hey, I'm going to take care of you if you'll get me here to this point. That's burned me. I've done that. But really,
you're not keeping score. That's the thing.
Right. And you're not, well, see, I never kept score. I was like, well, this guy can get me here, so I'm going to do everything I can to help him, and he'll take me along. That's wrong, too. It's the hooking my train car to your engine. I'm not grabbing your coattails, which is another version of what I did. Was, oh, you're really talented. We can put this together, and your talent will take me to where I want to go. That's not right. I think that's a little different than keeping score. But I did that. But the reason I brought up the conversation with my wife is because when she brought up the first conversation there, I went, you know what? This is all wrong. You're right. Scrap everything. Refocus life. Refocus work. Refocus the family. You're right. The second, no, do not disconnect anything, Gitmo Slave. Quit being a distraction in the chat room. So if you're on the podcast, you should come out live because he thinks he's funny, but no free ticket for you in Tampa, mainly because Ricky won't be there. But our Mordant Mom will slap Ricky for you, just so you know. They see each other from time to time. I think I covered that well.
Just off on a tangent. I have no idea where you're at. I'm like, what is he talking about?
Sometimes you just got to go on tangents. It's that relaxation that sometimes there's a rabbit in the room and you got to chase it, man. That's all. Anyway, back to my point.
Before we get back into it, hey, let me throw it out there. I'm going to throw it out to the chat room right now, just in case somebody's just itching with their fingers going, what are those numbers? I want to chime in on this conversation. 813-413-7133. Pick up the phone. Give us a call. Ready, Charles? Go.
Thank you.
You were talking about giving. That's one of the things you. That's the point that you keep bringing up now. You keep saying the word giving, and you brought it up before, which is where all of this I think surrounds.
Yes.
It's like instead of taking, although many of us do need to be able to work on our receiving muscles, it is about giving. Giving of yourself, giving of your time, and not necessarily just giving of your money. You want to help somebody else when you know how to do something and they need help, or you find a way that you can put something forward and set somebody on a path that's going to do them right. I think it's all about that.
It is, and that's another way for saying sowing. We think of sowing as, well, again, going back to the biblical reference, I've always heard it as just witnessing to people. You sow the word of God. That's not really what that story is about. The story is about you plant your seeds. And I don't mean going around and planting seeds, your bushes or otherwise. I mean, you go out and you put your passion out into the world, into people, giving to them, like you said, almost altruistically. Because I saw the difference. The second conversation with my wife, it wasn't, you're right, I got to stop everything. It was, well, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. It's obviously working. You've liked most of it. Let me take care of the part you don't like, readjust, refocus my priorities, but still stay on this path. So at that point, I was investing in people, maybe too much, maybe going, oh, yeah, I'm here for you. Yeah, I'll be there for you. And it took away from me being there for my wife. But I was able to find new paths to take versus doing the wrong thing, investing in somebody to take me somewhere. And she kept trying to tell me it's wrong, and I wouldn't listen, and I got burned, and that whole thing crashed. The whole idea with sewing, the visuals I had there and the visuals they used, is sometimes when you give of your passion, it's going to hit somebody who doesn't care. Just like I have grass in my yard that I'm so frustrated with because I have big clay, Georgia clay dirt patches. And I've tried to plant grass and tried to plant grass. And literally there's grass seeds sitting on hard clay right now because it just didn't take. Sometimes you'll run into people who will either take what you have, take your passion and bash it, or just they ignore it, they don't care, and you feel worthless. You have that. You have the ones that kind of take it, which I've had a few of those over the last couple of years where somebody came, oh, I want a podcast. Oh, great. I love podcasting. Let's get to know you better. Well, I like this. Okay, here's how I can help you. Here's what it's going to take. Here's the next 5 steps you have to take. Work to get to where you want to go. Let's go do it together. they disappear. That's like the shallow grass. You know, I'm using grass because I planted a lot of grass over a couple of years that I've been here. And then there's what we're doing here now with the Other Side of Live and BearCon, where we've invested in people and we've invested in time and we've practiced our skills and we did our passion, and now we're bigger than ever. We have deep roots that we're going to grow big and strong. And we're starting to reap. We're starting to get the benefits of that. And you're looking at us, hopefully you're looking at us going, wow, I'd like to be where you are. Not saying we're better than you, but I hope that we're at least some kind of role model. If we went through all these hard times, we feel like we're doing pretty decent. I hope you think you'd like to be like us and come along with us on this path. So if you're hitting those hard times where you've been giving, you're done giving, figure out what's going on in your life. Figure out what you're passionate about and invest that in other people's lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Before we go any further, I want to address something I see in the chat room. I want to give a personal shout out to BCN Watson, who was trying to get in touch with me as I was driving cross country today, and my phone was just not able to do anything. So hello, Ms. Watson. I am alive and on top of the mountain. Now, Charles, let me ask you something. When we're busy planting it forward, when we're busy working with other people, what happens when that gets in the way, that pulls your time away from your family? What happens when that, what do you do then? I mean, are you going to ignore all the needy around you? Or are you just going to ignore the people at your back? What do you do? What do you do?
Well, see, I'm focused. Now, I like what Rathburn says here, and it plays into your question. She says, don't try just throwing down grass seed. Build up the soil first. And as I've made my mistakes, I'm going to go to podcasting here. As I've learned from the early days of who I've worked with, and some have worked, some have failed. Some have come so far. Some, I'll just call out, he's not here tonight, but one of my podcasters, he doesn't mind. He's honest about it. He doesn't have the drive that I do, but he loves what he does. He's good at what he does. I love talking to him. He's a good friend of mine. He will never be the serious satellite radio talk show host because it's not what he wants. But I've learned to recognize things in people from partial successes, from like him. He's being honest. And he goes, yeah, cool. I don't want that. I'm good. You know, you learn to listen to people. That's building up the soil. You learn to listen to your wife or your husband, as it were, in your case anyway. I'm sorry. No? No. Okay. I'll just play. I'm trying to cover all genders and sexes there. So I had to learn to listen to my wife. I had to sit down, okay, let's talk about how we can work this out. Obviously, you don't hate that I podcast. Obviously, you believe in what I believe, which is I'm bigger, better, better, more. You know that one day something bigger is going to happen. I can see the one day. I am that big picture guy. I am that big picture guy. I am that big picture guy. I am